Hey fellas, and welcome back to With a Y. Today's topic is one that's actually been on the burner for the last 6 months. I haven't put it off for any particular reason. More, I was just kind of like taking the time to get more entries in for this. But if you're active on like Deltarune, Undertale, Twitter, there's a possibility you've heard the sentiment before that actual Renaissance artists get reborn as Deltarune fans, and where they could have in a past life had like all of their livelihoods be funded by like the Medici family to like draw whatever a rich person wanted them to. Now instead they work for the common man, drawing little pixel art characters in much more detail than they will ever likely be officially rendered. I think the first one I ever saw was like some shit like this where it's, I swear Deltarune shipping artists draw their faves like it's the Renaissance and they were just commissioned by the Pope. And I'm inclined to agree. Not in like the literal stylistic definition of the Renaissance, but in that like, some of these guys are just showing out for shit they do not get paid for. Kind of in line with this, there's like a separate ongoing joke where people are like, cruisy artists are like, we're cool as hell and we draw them being cute. And then every piece of Crisel art you ever see is incredibly tragic and just like heart-wrenching. Because these motherfuckers don't know how to let their oomfies be happy. They only draw them on like the tragic, weird route. They used this example and then somebody's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do an inspired interpretation of the exact prompt that just got made. With you, yes you, viewer, as the soul in the background who's puppeting Chris. I don't know what figure is supposed to be holding the parp in the original painting, but I can only imagine the symbolism lines up. And today I just wanted to go through a few of these with you to just kind of highlight like some of my favorites collected over the last 6 months of just like insane shit. There's a video with like a decently similar premise called Why Deltarune Artists Are the Soul of the Community by Elliot Online, where this fella just goes out and shouts out like a bunch of fan artists that they are particularly interested in. Now, because of the era the Renaissance took place in, a lot of the art is divinely inspired, like quite literally supposed to be based off a ton of Christian literature. And I think in a metaphorical sense, Deltarune fans are religiously inspired by the woke mind virus. I'm telling you, Deltarune fans are just reincarnated Renaissance painters just with more yaoi. We got this fucking spam Tenna interpretation with even swatch off to the end that is just so like incredibly detailed. I just love the way this whole thing is framed and that like the shelf of liquor is just mirrored on the top over here. Deltarune fan artists casually putting out Renaissance paintings, and we have this one here of the reconstruction of Tenna. Like in the Deltarune universe, I can see why the prophecy, since it has no pictures and is just vague enough, was able to inspire an entire religion that presumably all of monster human society revolves around. And like Renaissance artists, I kind of love how Deltarune fans decide to interpret certain pieces of the prophecy or moments in the game. Like this is the reconstruction of Tenna that is only possible if you spared every enemy inside TV world, and it's all them working together to just bring the TV man back to life. Now, when people think Renaissance, they have like usually a pretty specific art style in mind, but that's not strictly what I'm talking about. I think a lot of the artistic notions that people put into their Deltarune art would be out of place in like that era of art, but it moves me in all the same. From Lilybug over here, something real. This is way more stylized than like an oil painting would be. Ralsei's room has always been empty. It always has been. Nothing exists here. Nothing real anyway. I spent a long time waiting in this empty room, waiting for you. I was prepared for the heroes of the prophecy is what I thought. And then you got this beady-eyed, like stylized Ralsei plush, looking infinitely more creepy and less innocent than the IRL one and the one you give the poor fucker in the game. But you two, Susie, your booming personality, Chris, your courage and resilience, your jokes and antics. I think the Duck Death Machine would be right at home in something in the era of Da Vinci. Your keen eyes, your big hearts, your souls. You saw something in me that I wasn't able to. Something real. You're so real that we were able to make a marketable plush out of you, and it's the nicest thing anybody's ever done for the poor sod. This is a reply, and you're not gonna believe like what the actual artwork looks like when I scroll up. Deltarune fans make the most eye-watering, Renaissance quality, greatest piece of artwork of all time, and it's a goofy-ass character like this. Like the least detailed, least flattering version of the character that you could fucking rummage through, and this is the fucking art! Rainey thinks, sometimes I look back and think, how the fuck did I do that? With just like stained glass portraits of the three heroes while Susie's just shattering through hers. It's kind of epic. Now, to be clear, this is not at all an isolated phenomenon to like Undertale Deltarune fandom. It exists all over the internet in all sorts of niche communities. This just happens to be the one I've been in the most recently, and the art is just, I think generally lives up to the standard we're talking about. Sometimes people take the Renaissance thing very literally, like I showed you in the start, and they just do fucking redraws. The death of Noelle Holiday, and she's in a stormy night just throwing someone off a cliff. I could have sworn that I've seen the base painting of this one before, but it looks insane. I hope Susie becomes becomes friends with the soul when she finds out. Susie, the moment she discovers what we did to Chris, yeah, she is not forgiving our ass, and we probably don't deserve that shit. Like, just look at y'all. You have people referring to Heartbreak Juan with the same terminology. This dude is absolutely fucking cracked whenever he drops anything. He's the dude who's doing that, like, 3-parter Des versus Azrael comic, and these are their crazy-ass designs. Like, this is, like, not even close to the most dynamic thing he's ever drawn. Shit is insane. I'd like to give a shout to at least one animation here, as well as Moon's interpretation of that animation. I fucking love this piece so much. With Susie in the clouds, Chris going, I'm going to die before the week is over, based off this absolutely insane animation. Like, the creativity that inspires these Renaissance comments exists in, like, every style of art that you're fucking see these guys exposed to. This is by Next Sketch. I have come back to this animation time and time again over the last 3 months since it first came out. I genuinely can't get past this shit. It's so fucking good, dude. I want that to go for like 7 years and then never end. Nitrovu says Deltarune is a goofy, unserious game, and then decides to, you know, just flex a little on us. Who are these two characters? You tell me. It's art. It's up to interpretation. Like, how did you get this from the fucking Pixel game? How is this your artistic inspiration, dude? This is fucking haunting. The amount of, like, stylized and, you know, raw art I see about Des, it's just the tragedy of the character that she is, despite how little we know about her. A lot of, like, the tragedy is implied and interpreted by the artist to be like this. And then, you know what? Yeah, throw in the secret boss is just looking gnarly as hell. Why not? An artist I come back to a lot for this kind of work is one Edan at Necromania. His stuff is absolutely fucking nuts. Like, and they're kind of tricky with their profile picture and banner. It's like, ooh, it's me with a Christmas hat on. Ooh, it's me in like a little sketch next to Carol Holiday. Isn't that awesome? Please ignore the forlorn Flowey on the empty throne, seeing his family completely fall apart, struggling and failing to give it a hug and get the life he lost back. Oh, mister, I don't feel emotions. Yeah, sure you fucking don't. One of Death's Knight just with Friend curling its tail around her neck, bloodshot eyes bleeding from the face. I haven't even shown you some of the craziest shit here yet. This Gaster interpretation has had me in a chokehold ever since the first time I saw it. The way they interpret the scarring and the cracks in the skull on the face through the mouth, holding their own original skull in their hands and like shrouding them in cloak like that one thing in the Undertale files that isn't actually in the game, but a lot of people are like, Gaster! Kind of ties it back to that divine inspiration shit I kept going on about earlier. I think the most asshole thing they do though is like just including the MS Paint UI and their screenshots of their art as like a money spread. Like, fuck you for that one, dude. You're just a prick. It's like, yeah, I did it in MS Paint. It was actually really simple. They go even harder than that though. Like, these are some of his rendered Susie and Chris designs. They transpose that onto the intro of Deltarune Chapter 1, The Prophecy. A human, a monster, and a prince of the dark, and Ralsei gets snubbed once again. And it's almost all the more poetic for it, just making them Chris's red headband. Like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you for that one. Then alternatively, they'll post shit like this. This is actually the mock-up I used to create my Masterwork. Took a little Smurf, put some like blue hair over it, a fucking poorly cropped red cloth, and I was good to go. I knew exactly how to make that real. I think the pieces of theirs that have made the rounds the most have been their incredible renderings of like certain moments from Undertale. Repost because my Ibis Paint doesn't let me finish my other stuff. And it's just Undyne the Undying, just tossing Frisk's shit. They even included the little ballet shoes as the most recent weapon you can get before this fight as like a nice little detail. I can only imagine that for someone who grew up on Undertale, like when it first came out, the wonder they felt seeing the little pixel sprites come to life in fan animations, like they might have gotten a dose of that same feeling when looking at art like this for the first time from Edan. This is a time lapse of a piece they did about Toriel and Asgore when they were actually a happy family, and I'm not sure where the reference image is from, but there's something just hopelessly domestic about it. And when you see a couple this happy and then you see how they are in the actual game, kind of destroys you mentally, I have to say. Like, there were golden flowers at least one version of these two's wedding, and the way Edan interprets that is they make the full bouquet and they're like, actually, I'm gonna give it a white face to fucking smear Flowey all over it. Get fucked! There's another one that was particularly devastating to me that I gotta find real quick. They posted this cryptically, where there are very rare circumstances in the Undertale tutorial where Toriel can actually kill you, and she has a surprised reaction because that was never part of the plan. And this is how Edan decided to illustrate it. That fucking freak of nature, dude. This is some of the most accurate representation of World War II shell shock I've ever fucking seen. And what do you know? They used Ivan the Terrible holding his son. Just tragic shit. I think one of the bigger pop-offs, though, is also their Kara and Azrael ones in alternate realities. Like, it's like, oh, they're a happy family, they're best friends, oh. Just kidding, Kara's dead and has already reached rigor mortis. One of the more tragic things that I heard as an interpretation of this scene from Undertale was that monsters turn to dust when they die, and Azrael's just a kid during this, so even if it's like not common knowledge that humans don't turn to dust, their bodies and souls persist after death, this motherfucker probably doesn't know that. He probably thinks that his sibling is just fucking sleeping, clutching their dead body, man. You don't know how deep that shit'll cut you until like you have a similar experience in real life, man. It's heart-wrenching. This Snowgrave art by SP has pretty much never left my mind ever since the day I bookmarked it. This was really close to Deltarune's release, and it fucked me up. And I could go for ages of examples like this. Like, Snowgrave art, like, people just love to draw these two fuckers, like, in hell. This video could go on for literally an hour, and I wouldn't be done covering a lot of the shit that I liked. But you guys should check out, like, pretty much all the artists I shared here. They're dope. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at @withany. That email's in the description if you guys want to send me any video topics. Anyways, piss off.